Hello, everyone, and welcome to the OC Housing Talk. Again, I'm Mike Van Ruth, and with me today, obviously, Tim Lorenz.
I'm still here, like a bad penny. You can't get rid of me.
I've never heard that one. That must be an old terminology.
Yeah, it is.
So, again, Tim Lorenz dating himself.
There you are, online or on video.
Exactly. Well, we were talking about concerns. What's this? All the hubbub, scuttlebutt you hear on the social medias all the time. Of course, it's all doom and gloom.
Well, anything you hear on social media is accurate.
Yeah,
no, it's not. Yeah.
I sensed your sarcasm.
Oh, my goodness. We're seeing so much out there talking about how this is a very bad time to purchase homes. I'm going to tell you how much I disagree with that, but I'll start with the first one. All of my new agents that I train, the mentees that I have learning the business, I told them this is a year you had best buy because you're going to get equity so quickly. This market isn't going to slow down. There aren't a bunch of people who are going to crash and burn. And if you're waiting for the forbearance problem issue, which I thought might be more of an issue than it is not even going to be an issue because the people who had taken forbearance have been able to make payments and they're not behind. So foreclosure of even those properties, even if they came on the market, it wouldn't really slow the market down. They aren't even there. So what we have is such a low inventory. Unbelievably low. And I'll tell you how bad it is.
Tell us, Tim.
We are still below what January levels were for houses on the market. Now, that's ridiculous. We usually start January and just go up throughout the year. And last year when COVID hit, we went way down, but only for a month and then shot up and went over. So having as low a number of listings is not anything that I've seen in my career. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
We're at 29. We're still below 3,000 in Orange County. What does that mean? Well, I'll put it in some numbers you might be able to understand. At the end of June of last year, compared to end of June this year, we are 79% fewer homes on the market. And last year was COVID. If you go back to a 5-year average prior to last year, you are 170% fewer houses. Those numbers are nuts.
Nuts.
The worst market I've seen for sellers is where we had approximately, I think, 17,000 homes on the market per month. Right now, we're hitting 2,900 homes. I mean, it's crazy. It's very crazy. We'd usually have right around 7,000 homes. So it's way off. Okay, so what does that mean? If you're a seller, obviously, there's lots of people who still want to buy homes, and there aren't any homes to sell. All right, I've made this point 3 or 4 times. But I want to refute the argument that, well, what goes up comes down. It does. But you have to have a reason to come down. The mortgage meltdown was due to the mortgages were based on nothing, and I really mean that. They were, if you fogged a mirror, you could get a loan.
Yeah.
You didn't really have to qualify. Yeah,
Breathe on this mirror. He fogged it. He qualifies.
Exactly. So we don't have that. You must fully qualify. We don't have a lot of houses that are highly leveraged, meaning no money down. If you go back to an earlier period before the meltdown, they were giving 125% loans. So you could borrow on your house 25% more than what the house was worth.
In retrospect, when you think about it, that's just crazy talk.
Well, it was crazy talk to me when that was happening. In fact, I had a lender. He and I would look at each other and go, how do you do that? How do you lend more on a house than what it's worth? The people could walk away tomorrow when they got 25% more
in their
for
pocket,
the house.
yeah.
But that was going on. We don't have that. So that's not going to cause a crash. We have the market going up in value. That means that even if somebody got in trouble, and things happen, most people who go bankrupt or find themselves in huge financial problems are not people who are lazy, decided they want to take advantage of somebody. The majority of those people have health issues. Most bankruptcies are over people who got cancer, didn't have enough coverage in insurance, used all their money trying to get healthy and lose their homes or go bankrupt to try and at least stay out of trouble. We're not talking about that. If those people get in trouble right now, they can sell their house and come out with more money than they would have last year. If they're in bankruptcy, they could sell the house and come back with a profit. If they're in trouble in foreclosure, they can sell it and come out with a profit. So you don't have all those elements with a downward trending market and, something that just popped or blew up. There's nothing that says it's going to blow up. There's nothing that says that the interest rates are going to fly up over 7%, which is, I think, the ground number. If it gets over 7, you'll see the market slow. But up until 7%, I don't see a problem. And where are we at? 2.9 something?
Mm-hmm.
So we're not close to 7. So there aren't any factors out there that actually will cause this market to go down. It's got a head of steam and it's rolling. And it's just nothing right now that's going to stop it. As a matter of fact, my prediction, and it is just that, a prediction, my look into the crystal ball, is that as we get to the end of the year, you'll probably end up where any year would have ended up. If we started high or low, they have a flow to them. It will look like we have stepped up, like they'll be in the paper. It increased 10%. I think that was one of the things we heard today, which I found very interesting. Somebody was saying, month to month, we increased 10% in the number of houses that came on the market. That's an increase in listings. We're out of trouble. And I'm sitting there going, we're 170%
yeah,
down.
we're still in the hole.
But it went up 10%. That's because we were worse in May. So statistics are good if you can get the whole picture. If you just read one statistic, you can make it look or play for you. It is true. It's not as bad as it was in May, but it's way worse than it's been in other years. So, you have to know those things. But I think we will end the year in what we would call the usual low period, which will be a high period for this year.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to be slowing down anytime soon, even during the quote-unquote traditional holiday period where things tend to dip a little bit.
Yeah, but we really don't have a season in California. No reason to have one. I mean, if you were sitting in, let's say North or South Dakota, Montana, where they have a winter. I'm not sure what that is.
I can't really see the house. Is that white thing over there?
No, it's a tall white thing over there. Yeah, we don't have winter or heavy rains. I mean, yes, we could have a day of heavy rains. We could have a week of heavy rains, but we don't have anything that stops people from going out and looking at houses. So it's not based on that. I know when I first got in the business, people would talk about, well, the market is really from about March to September, and then the kids go back to school. Well, then you had baby boomers who the kids moved out of the house, and they would wait until September to buy, so there wasn't as much competition for a house. If it came on the market, somebody who put it on, they may have a better chance of getting it at a better price because it was late in the year. And so instantly we started having a little drop, but it wasn't massive.
Well, usually it's true too during the holiday season. Your buyers are serious buyers. Where in the past, people go out to open houses just to look at houses. Let's see what the neighbor's house looks like.
Yeah.
But during the winter, during the holiday season, anybody walks through your house, it's because they're a serious buyer, not just a looky-loo. Not that we have looky-loos anymore, especially with COVID, pretty much precluding that. You're a serious buyer. You have all the qualifications. You're not just someone visiting, because you can't get into a house that way.
And the reason I think this will be different in that we're not going to have fewer buyers because so few could complete what they were trying to do, buy a house. If there's so much pressure to buy a house, and I mean they're buying houses they like, but there's a lot of pressure to buy a house, and you can't find one if it takes you into September or October.
Well, that house we put a offer in on today, we're one of 8 offers on that property.
That's right.
So
it's still very active. It's still very positive. So if you've been reading how it's all going to crash and they've got all this information about it, why it's going to crash, which is all supposition, we don't have any economic factors right now that says we're going to crash. We can't even, the Fed is saying they're not going to increase interest rates.
And normally they would not say that.
I agree. And not only that, they
would go, well, we're still thinking. And when they start wishy-washing around, that tells you they're thinking about raising rates. But if they say, well, we're not going to raise rates, you can pretty much count on the fact that they're not going to raise rates.
And it's pretty wild. Then people point out, well, take a look. I mean, we had inflation, and it's really high. It is right now. If you're looking at the inflation numbers that came out today, I think they were 5%, and that's high. But they say it's temporary and it's not going to affect.
I like the word it's transitory.
Transitory, yes. It means that we've never been in a place where we shut our entire economy down and then restarted it. So the Fed, if they aren't going to increase rates, then the rates are going to stay the same. There's nothing to slow down the march.
You shut down for a year and a half, obviously production is going to slip. And then when you get back into gear, everyone's like, there's a lag. It's like being in a traffic jam, that accordion effect. The same thing with the economy. It's speeding up again. We need to catch up. So there's this total lag in production, in our supply chains and everything else. So when you have a limited amount of product, but with a high demand, you're going to experience that inflation.
It's pretty wild because we can't get enough employees back to work yet.
There's help wanted signs everywhere I go. There's a help wanted sign up.
Absolutely. I mean, if you wanted a job, you can get it right now because everybody's looking for one, and whether you have experience or not. But be that as it may, not being able to fill the job positions and you still have the increases in production and GDP, et cetera. That's pretty.
Well, we went down for lunch in Laguna Beach. There's a restaurant we went to. They couldn't seat us because they didn't have enough staff to service the people inside. So they were only doing takeout.
Wow.
We're like, okay, bye.
I haven't seen that, but I've seen a quarter of the restaurant with empty seats, and you're waiting, and you're like, those seem open. They don't have enough.
Yeah, it's not that they don't have enough seats
or waiters.
They don't have enough people to wait on you.
That's right.
So they can't help those tables. They don't have enough staff.
That's exactly right. And it seems funny because we're not used to that.
No.
We're not used to walking into a restaurant and it's got a whole wing that looks like, gosh, just seat us in there. And they're like,
well, you can go ahead and sit there, but no one's going to help you.
That's right. So we all have to be a little patient at working this out. But that's what they mean. It's transitory. So we're not likely to have anything come along right now. Now, always there can be unforeseen things. Stuff can happen you didn't see coming.
Meteorite.
That would be I didn't see that coming. Not even here. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Earthquake.
Yes, earthquake, yeah. or anything else.
Yeah.
Whatever. Unexpected things can happen, and then it might change the dynamic, but it would have to be unexpected and unusual and a number of other things. But right now, there is nothing that you could sit down and chart that would indicate that we're in trouble.
And nothing's sneaking up on us.
Nothing. And I can't help it. When I see something like that, it drives me crazy.
Well, a lot of it's clickbait.
That's right. They may not know what
the
clickbait
doom and
is.
gloom. Well, these people put out these stories, not because of the story itself. It's to get clicks. Everything in social media is about getting clicks. So if they can have a title there that gets in your face that scares you, or something that's like doom and gloom, it's like, oh, I better read that, and you click on it, and it's all it is there to get you to click.
The
They want
title
the
was
clicks.
better than the story. It's kind of it, yeah.
Exactly. And you're like, and then you read the story, and you're like, that wasn't
Didn't
as
quite live up to that
yeah,
title.
no. But that's how they get you to click. Because if you just put the title according to the story, they probably just pass right by it. But caught my attention, scared me. I better read this, be informed. And next thing you know, oh, darn, it was clickbait. Got me again. Every time.
All right. So if you're thinking about buying, now is the time. If you were thinking about investing, it's one of those things where your house is kind of an investment, but it is the second house that is truly an investment. The first one you live in, and you have to buy one. If you leave that one, you have to live somewhere. But if you have one that's strictly not one you live in, that's where investment starts. And that's where you actually can go up and down. You can sell. You can do pretty much anything. Think of it like you would a stock, except with 1031 exchanges and things like that, you may not have to pay tax on the sale of the home as long as you're putting into another home.
Correct.
If you don't know about that, I don't want to take the time now because it would take too long. Just
That's
give
a
us
whole
call.
other. That's a whole other podcast.
Maybe we ought to do that one.
Yeah.
A 1031 exchange and what it means, why you use them. But investment is really good right now. If you really hadn't thought about it, but your house has gone up wildly, as much as 30, 35%. If you know, I'm talking about since last year, not since you purchased it originally. You have a lot of equity there. You can also borrow against the home. That isn't a taxable event. You can take that money and put it down on another home. If we're talking about the Orange County area, a lot of people go, well, it's just too expensive. I'd have to go to somewhere like Phoenix or Las Vegas to reinvest. You certainly could do that. You could go anywhere in the U.S. But you don't have to leave California. You can go over the hill from where we are.
Riverside County.
Which is Riverside County, and Riverside County is one of the fastest growing areas. And you can still buy something for $4,000 to $5,000, $500,000. And
don't get people.
Yeah.
That's clickbait right there.
Ooh, yeah. Sounded good to me. Maybe I'll give them a click. So you can buy at $5,000, you can buy at $600, and have a very nice home.
Yeah,
and,
they're very
and
nice.
in nice neighborhoods. So you don't have to go that far away, leave the state. You actually can buy here within an hour, roughly, of where we are. So those are good investments. The rents are good. Rents are going up as fast as the properties are going up. And we complain about that because it means people are getting out of, a lot of people who are renters are finding it difficult to find another renter, or the rents are going up too rapidly. And one of the things that I was telling our people locally, our agents, is not everywhere goes up as fast as we do, nor do they pay as much for as we pay for a property here. We were talking about houses now in Orange County are well into $1 million plus on average, and that's for the whole of Orange County. Down in South Orange County, they're more than that. So that's very expensive. And I said, you do understand most people in the United States can't afford to live here. And a lot of people here, if they don't own a home, have to go somewhere else. And if they were renting here, they have to make a move. And we were discussing people who were at the bottom of the scale. They wanted to buy a house at 400 or 500, and they have to have a house. I said, start talking to them about other counties because it's getting out of reach. Or townhomes or condos. But even those are getting harder and harder to find. So there's always an answer. If you were thinking about buying a house, you can't afford it because you were the one that was looking at 4 or 5. Now would be a time, why not get an investment piece first? Buy a $400,000 or $500,000 house, Riverside County, or buy a condo locally, wait a couple of years, sell it, take the equity from that, and now go buy your house because you can do it that way. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a 2-step process.
Correct.
Most agents aren't telling you that even exists because they don't think that way.
No. If you can't find exactly what you want, just get into something.
At this point, in this kind of market, get in. You'll be very happy.
Use that as a stepping stone to the next property and the next property.
That's exactly right. So once again, we're not dying. Houses are a good thing for now. Great time to buy. It's a great time to sell.
There hasn't been, has there been a better time to sell? Whew, going like gangbusters out there.
According to what I read in the paper today, it said we're at a 30-year, in 30 years we've never had faster growth. And that goes from the time that they first started tracking the growth and value of homes. 1988 is what they said was the beginning of that. And we're at the highest ever. Now, I can go back to 1970.
Here we go.
Yep, exactly. And I bought a house at $24,000, sold it at $74,000. That is triple the value it was in the beginning.
Over what time period?
3 years.
3 years.
Now that would be 100% per year for 3 years. They weren't tracking it then, but I can tell you, in my lifetime, it's been faster.
I remember back in my day.
Now, what makes that so interesting is my dad, who moved here from Nebraska. And Nebraska, he lived in a farm area. They didn't have any kind of growth like that. He was amazed at what happened in California.
I bet.
In fact, all of his brothers and his dad ended up moving out here from the farm in Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Yep.
That's some culture shock even back then.
Well, yes. But what I'm saying is this is a great place to invest. If you thought about it, you just want to talk about it, you don't want to start yet, you're a little bit afraid, that's okay. I won't talk you into anything, but you want to understand it. I'm going to ask you a few questions, one of which is, do you want to make money per month or do you want to gain wealth? Those are two different things, done actually probably in two different areas. Could be the same area. Depends on the amount that you can afford to spend. But we can help you with that. We absolutely can. We have quite a few investor clients. And if you want to get a hold of us,
number down below.
Number and email. So just give us a call or email us, and we'll be glad to help you out.
Terrific. So don't worry about the doom and gloom. Is that what you're saying?
Not at all. It's all positive. It really is. I'm still very excited. In fact, I was just talking to all those mentees, and it was kind of amped. It was.
You had a big crowd in there.
I had a big crowd.
I was like, whoa, he's got quite a few people in there.
That's it.
Well, good deal. Calm them all down.
No, my job is to get them going.
Well, calm them off the fear thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely did that.
Sometimes fear is crippling, so.
It is very crippling. We had a very, very positive discussion. We had somebody that came in who had talked about being kind of down and how much that affected the business. And they're back now, and they're making money again. And the reason is they allowed themselves to kind of get down.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right. Fear can absolutely cause people problems.
Cripple you.
Okay, I don't think there's any more I need to cover on this.
No, I think you nailed it, Tim, as usual. Put a nice little bow on that bad boy. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, you can also follow us. All our social media links are in the description down below. And until next time, thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Mike.
And thank you.